Hello, art friends. So, I've gotten a few DMs about how I set up my Procreate drawings. Um, so, thought I'd make a quick video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to do my best to keep it concise. Um, it took me like a year and some change to figure out how to do all this. So, I thought I'd just save some people some time and just show you how I did it. So basically I'm just going to be going over how I get kind of this paper texture. And I don't really know why on camera it looks so damn intense, but it's a lot more subtle in person, I promise. So to start with, I usually just create a canvas. For that, I just go to new canvas, and then I will switch it to inches, because my brain does not work in pixels, and I don't know whose does, but if you do, congrats. So I will usually change the DPI to like 400 or 500, even sometimes 600, but I was recently told that doesn't matter, and that 300 is the max that printers can print anyways, but I feel like digitally it looks better. So I'm not totally sure. Again, I'm not a professional, I'm just like a bozo college student that just has a lot of, I just do this for fun. So, so I'll just keep it at 500. The only thing I would say about DPI is that the higher you go and the larger your canvas is, the more limited your layers are going to be. So that's totally up to you and your layer management abilities. So let's just put it at 400 for now. For the color profile, I'm pretty particular about this. I usually go with CMYK because I think most printers print in CMYK. So you'll just get a more true to color print if you do end up printing your stuff. But I also just like the CMYK because it's just has more of a vintage retro kind of a vibe to it, versus the RGB is just a little bit intense. And I'll show you in a second what that looks like. And then for the time lapse, if I'm going to post a time lapse to Instagram, I'll keep it at 2K with studio quality, but if I'm not, or if I just forget, it's usually on 1080 with good quality, but I don't really recommend this, especially since Instagram already absolutely just shits on the quality when you post it. I would recommend trying to up your quality so that when it's posted, it's not, horrible. So I hit create. So now I just have a big, beautiful blank canvas. And I'll show you what this color profile looks like. You can see it's kind of muted. It's got kind of I don't know how to explain it. I'm terrible at this, but yeah, I'll show you. This is the CMYK, and then the RGB is very bright. I don't know if you can see the difference on camera, but it is it just gives it more digital feel, and I don't particularly love that. But if that is your vibe, go for it. Do whatever you want to do. That's just the basic making your canvas setup. So to create these kind of textured effects on, I don't know why it looks so crazy on the camera. Did I lower my brightness a little bit? Maybe that'll help. I don't know, but it doesn't look this insane. To create this textured effect, I use some plugins from True Grit Texture Supply, and I will show you that in a second. But actually, before I do that, I just want to talk about really quickly printing. I recently did an event at Super Sweet Tattoos and Coffee, and I wouldn't say that the printing situation was a total disaster, but it was kind of disaster adjacent. And I would recommend, if you're gonna print your stuff and you want it to be full bleed, make the file maybe an inch larger than it needs to be, or if you have InDesign, I recommend just putting it in design and then making it full bleed with the printer's marks and bleeds. I don't recommend just kind of winging it. I don't know. It's just whatever you want to do. But I know that I wanted to make my drawings 12 by 12 inches. And I kind of went a bozo way of doing it, and I kind of messed it up. But it ended up being all right. And this is kind of what they look like when they print. The textures come out really nicely. This is the size reference. I don't know, my camera setup's kind of not the best, but Yeah, so it prints pretty well. I wanted them to be like to the edge without a border, but if you want a border, then you can just make your canvas the size that it is and then print it that way. And the printer will probably put like a 1/4 of an inch or whatever the setting is for the printer that you're using. Will automatically just put that in there. So, okay, sorry, we're gonna get back to this really quickly. I just thought I would mention that, but I definitely need to rework my printing workflow because that was definitely a little stressful. Yeah, so this is the True Grit Texture Supply website. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my camera. So for this, you just go to shop, and if you're going to use Procreate, use the Procreate or whatever other program they have if you're using that. But yeah, so just Procreate, and then I have the Rusty Nib, the Stipple Studio, and the Color Mark. I know for these three, I can't speak for the other ones, but I know for these three, it comes with a free paper texture. So yeah, they also sell like a paper texture on the side, but I didn't want to spend an extra $30 when these ones already came with it. But I've seen people use these and they are quite beautiful. So when I'm not in school, I'll probably, splurge. Yeah, so for example, this one, the Color Mark, it'll just show you how to download it onto your device. So I'm not going to go through that because y'all know how to read. But I am going to show you basically how to import it into Procreate. The thing with this is that when you import, I kind of don't really love, I don't know why it does this, and there's probably the better way of doing this, and I am doing it incorrectly, but this is just how I do it, so yeah. When you import it, for some reason, it's automatically an RGB file, and I don't really know how to change it. I don't even know if you can change it. I've tried, and I don't love that. So what I'll do, and this is definitely a little embarrassing because I don't think this is correct, but I will painstakingly go and copy the layer and then add it to the canvas that has the CMYK color profile. Yeah, so probably not correct, but it's what I do. And I don't notice that I don't think it messes the quality up, at least not in my experience. It seems to be totally fine. So, yeah. Let me just show you, just trying to get through this. Okay, so the most important part of this is that you want to replicate exactly how the program imports it because you want that textured effect. So when you open this, you'll notice that it says S and M. These are blending modes, and I can make a whole video about those because I use them a lot. But yeah, so this is S and M. This is just the screen one, and this is multiply. You want to replicate this exactly. So I'll go over to my canvas, I'll click screen and multiply, and then switch, the way it's, oh, oops, what did I do? Maybe this is the screen one. I have terrible memory, sorry. This is the multiply one. Yeah, okay. What the heck? Switch to multiply. Okay, cool. So then I'll just group them, combine down to new group, and then I will add a layer on top and move that underneath. You always want to keep your art layer, the one you're drawing on, underneath your paper texture layer so that the paper texture applies to your art. Because if you put it on top, it's just going to look, it doesn't look, honestly, it doesn't look horrible, but it's, not ideal. So basically, that is just how I set up my paper texture thing. You just, you got a lot of layers. You can do whatever you want. And you'll see, I also use a lot of their their brushes. They're fantastic. I love them so much. But here, I'll just demonstrate to you. Yeah. So one thing, oh, you know what? Actually, I want to go over one last thing. I don't love how intense this is. Even in person, when I'm looking at my screen, it's just a lot. And it really washes out the color. And I'll show you what I mean by that. If I were to move this is like solid black, but it looks gray, right? Because it is so washed out by this texture. This is what it looks like on top. So yeah, I don't love that. So what I'll do is I'll just take this screen layer that is like the crunchy looking one, and I'll lower it down to usually like 30, 29, whatever that range. And then you have like a better looking, more realistic, not as washed out. You can still get that really nice black and layer it, but it's not hella washed out. So yeah, I think that's it. There's really not much else to it. It's just how I set everything up. I can go over blending modes and layer management if you want me to. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.